looky here. It's the Pat and JT podcast.
Pat and JT podcast.
Man, okay, so the previous 2 episodes with Gary Saddlemeyer and Stephen M. Sipple.
I was just going to bring that
2
up.
of the best back-to-back episodes we've ever had.
How can we follow that?
Well, we might
It's
as well just
us.
stop. That's it.
If you're, if just per chance you hadn't gone through it yet, having those guys on, Stephen M. Sipple from the Lincoln Journal-Star and so many other. He's on the Ticket and Lincoln as well, radio, print. He does a little bit of everything. He was hilarious. I liked
him.
it, and I want him to come back again because we're just kind of getting to know him, and I'd love to have him be more of a regular. Also, Gary Saddlemeyer on KFAB Morning Show. And of course, his Husker history, as he was talking about. He's right. And I hope they did do it this last weekend. I know they talked about, John Bishop had talked about, he's like, since we don't have the game, wouldn't it be fun just to have a game on and then have Pavelka and Saddlemeyer sit next to each other and call the game for you?
So I was thinking about that. Instead of having an actual game, I would think have a couple people get at a bar and play a game of Madden and have those guys call the Madden game.
Wouldn't that be
That
that'd be
would be
fun.
fun. Super fun. So that's the title of this podcast. It's just a podcast dry hump. That's what this is right now.
Well, that's how it's starting, okay?
That's how-
But
and
because we were big fans of the last 2 shows. I'm just going to tell you right now.
Honk, honk.
That was fun. Actually, the last 3 shows, because we had Randy J. Goodwin in also. Actor, director from Omaha, Creighton Prep, and he ran down the list in the podcast of every school he attended in Omaha, and his connection, and then his movie called The Job, which is a faith-based movie, and he wanted something a little more gritty, and it's his movie. That's the cool part, and he was really fun to talk to. He likes to talk.
You know what? After those 3 back-to-back, it's like, oh my gosh, we got to really step it up.
We need to do something.
I don't know what we're gonna
Don't
do.
worry. You know what I've got for you today?
Yeah.
Fugitive Friday.
Okay, that's nice.
Even if it's
on
not
a Monday,
Friday.
whatever.
I don't care. It's still good. So we got that coming up. A couple of things though.
I officially signed the paperwork not to be in jury duty. By the way, it's kind of going in with
let's
Fugitive
go
Friday.
back. Hold on. Hold on.
So
Let's reiterate what.
I was picked for jury duty in Lancaster County. Don't live there anymore. I've always wanted to be in a jury.
And you were going to lie your way on.
Tried, was going to, but Beth put the ultimatum that I had to have it actually, which I shouldn't have to have my wife put an ultimatum for me to get legal documents in, but I finally did. I went on. You could do it online
because you were going to go ahead and do it.
I was going to ask if I could.
Sorry about that.
You know what? Like we're all in Nebraska, strong. We're all one county, right? Isn't that what we just all went through?
No, we have borders.
Well.
That's
Whatever.
why we have
so
counties.
I'm not going to be on
93 of
Fugitive
them.
Friday one of these days.
Okay, well,
so you
not
know.
yet. I don't know. You haven't been to
No.
Saunders County in a while, have you?
No.
They're pretty tough there. Saunders County is known for it, and I think Sarpy is another one too that's known for it. They don't mess around. Not that anybody else messes around.
Highway 370. The and I'm not saying when I say this with the utmost respect, but like where the teachers are that you can't mess around in their class.
Right.
You know the teachers on 370, you can't mess around in that classroom. 370, if you speed, you're popped.
Don't even try.
Dodge Street Expressway, you can kind of tickle 75 every once in a while, and you might get away with it.
You ever have one of those days when you're maybe driving a little bit faster than normal for whatever reason, not aggressively, you just are, and all of a sudden you realize you're about to pass a police officer.
Yeah. It's like, whoa. Yeah.
And you try to slow down without tapping your brakes.
Yeah.
Or you see him sitting on
I've
the
used
side.
the emergency brake before. Where
Have you?
you slow down like that? I really have.
He's like sitting on the ramp, and you see him right as you go by, and you don't want to tap the brakes because he'll know that you're slowing.
Especially at night.
Yes.
And
And so I'm like wishing to God I had a stick shift so I could just shift it
Right.
down and just like
but then your momentum, your body swings forward. Yeah. Oh,
little
totally
Jake
done.
brake action. I'm
Totally
like, God,
done that.
dude, I want to
Yeah, when I
slow
had my
down.
Ford Escort and the emergency brake on the floor in between the 2 seats, that's happened a couple times where I would grab it and just slowly
Oh
pull
my
it
God.
up.
I don't think you're supposed to do
Oh, it's
that.
terrible for the vehicle.
That's not its intention.
No, because that's not an emergency.
It's not meant to. And when they say emergency brake, is that really for emergency stopping or just emergency staying put?
Just emergency staying. It should be called an emergency stay stick, not an emergency brake, because that's completely a misnomer. So yeah, 402-403-9478.
Oh,
Text us other
God.
places in town where you can't speed, where the law enforcement in that area are just like, we don't put up with this crap.
You
You
don't
are,
jack with
because
it.
when we were on the radio, still we took calls from our law enforcement friends
All
and
the time.
Some of the sayings were, if you're 9, you're mine. 9 over in your mind. If you're 9, you're mine.
and we had a
or-
couple call in and dispute that
right
because
So
they were that teacher.
everybody has right, but that teacher got respect.
That's right.
They all
It's
get
true.
respect.
You did
but
mess around.
They should anyway.
Oh my gosh. All right. So real quick here, coming up this week in a couple of days, and I think there's still room, but we're doing a podcast workshop. Just saying, if you've been thinking about it, if you have a business or a company that's been thinking about it, it's through the Omaha chapter of the American Marketing Association. And they invited us, and it's finally here. And just so you know, just this weekend, I got my PowerPoint presentation done.
And you found out you have PowerPoint.
And I
You can
found
download
out
a PowerPoint.
I was using Google Slides because
Google Slides is actually easier and it's cooler than
it was
PowerPoint.
slick to use, and I didn't realize I had the ability to convert it to a PowerPoint. And then there it was, download to PowerPoint.
So
Well,
she sends it to me on my computer to look at it. I open it up and I go and said, "Well, why don't we just download it as a PowerPoint?" She goes, "What? What? Oh, well, whatever. It looks fine. It looks great. It looks great. You did a great job."
I think it might be too many slides. I don't know. I got excited.
Yeah, we stole the crap out of a ton of images to use in this presentation.
Somebody call it, what they say, R&D? It's rip off and duplicate?
Rip off an R&D. I love that. R&D. Just put our logo over another one.
Right.
No biggie.
Whatever. Anyway, so we're going to be doing that on Wednesday, and it's going to be Silverstone Group is sponsoring it, and thank you to them. And that's at 115 in Miracle Hill. So if you're interested, there's details on the AMA's Facebook page and on ours too. I'd reposted it as well on mine, and I'm sure it's on Pat and JT's, isn't it?
Yep, it is.
And Parkville's.
Yep.
That's cool. Parkville Media, that's our company. So I found a really cool little list because I like lists.
Like a list.
Always like a list. And it's a podcast type deal.
Okay.
So podcasts for a lot, and for more and more people as we're moving forward, it's kind of interesting to see how this wave is picking up steam. When we first became Parkville Media in January, we knew what we were going to do is it had to do with podcasting and helping other people do the same thing, doing audio production. Audio production is what we've always done, and we've both done it on our own individually. I've done voice work stuff for people. Honestly, around the world. I've actually done voice work in London and in
You got paid in African
Africa.
rand.
Yes, I did.
I remember that. I didn't know that African money was called rand in
Yep.
some countries.
And it
some
translates,
areas.
man. That's
Yeah,
right.
whatever.
So I'm, been doing this stuff for a long time, and we were like, what skills that we have? We aren't going to work in radio. So where else can we apply these same skills? Where you've got this burgeoning new enterprise, which is all the podcast industry, and it's slowly picking up steam. And so we started looking around for other people that did podcast production, that help people put their podcasts together. Couldn't find anything. I mean, few and far between.
So we didn't know if that was a tip to us that we're doing the wrong thing or if we're like ahead of the game. Because I've never been
Yeah.
ahead of the game in anything I've ever done in my life, ever. So it's like,
Yeah.
what? Well, this has got to be wrong. It has to be wrong.
It's like all the timing is lining up. Everything
Yeah.
has been really good. So now, 10 months later, we look up, do the same Google searches, and all of a sudden there are way more replies or way more
Yeah.
responses from Google. And still not local, but you've got a lot more in the United States and a lot more, like you're seeing more Michigan, Chicago, Texas, West Coast, Northeast, more places where they're doing this kind of a thing.
yeah.
And putting these things together and helping other people do it too, because most of the places that do offer it are obscenely, ridiculously priced, and there's no need for that. And
Or
so
maybe we're just under ridiculous.
no, we are not, because we are in line with the
if
other.
everybody else, if every other Dairy Queen sells their blizzards for $7 and we sell them for $2,
No, it's like having a fine steakhouse decides they're going to offer a hamburger. It's not going to be $1.
right? Yeah, that's
Right?
the point. Okay, fair enough.
But you know that you can get a decent dollar hamburger or $1.99 or whatever you want to call it. You know that that can be done.
yeah, sure. Very good. point.
And so what you've got are businesses that are way too much for what is necessary. It's kind of like the analogy being they're selling sports cars to people that can only drive on highways.
Yeah.
So you can't go faster
You can
than
only go a
60,
certain speed.
but these cars all go 120, and that does you no good, right? So you're paying for stuff you don't need.
Yep.
That's what it really comes down to. And so anyway, now there are a lot more of them that are out there, which is it's exciting to see that happening. But along with that, you see a lot more articles that come out about podcasting and about people's favorites. And did you know that there are right now like damn near 1 million podcasts?
Here we go from the lady who put the presentation
I
together.
did. I'm gonna do that.
Here we go. Here comes Stat Saturday. Go ahead. No, what? I didn't know. What percentage of what does what
Never
with
mind.
podcasting?
Anyway.
Did you know that there are over
A
Here we
million
go.
of them out there.
Survey Sally
But-
over there.
But somehow we all managed to find the same ones, right?
Right.
That's the
Seriously,
funny
like there's
part.
like that core group of podcasts, and then they lead you to other ones. But yeah, there's that group.
There's that group. So somebody put together a couple of lists, and they were talking to Americans in particular, age 25 to 54. And that's basically, okay.
Here we go.
Everybody.
Right. That's pretty much everybody.
Right.
You're right. That's basically everybody that counts.
Everybody's listening of what they're listening to in every state. What their top podcast is by
interesting.
state. See, I do have a
yeah.
stat you like.
Is the Nebraska one Pat and JT?
It is not.
No.
The Nebraska one is Drinkin' Brothers. Okay, so that right now, that's Nebraska's favorite.
Okay.
So a couple others that I grabbed that grabbed my attention. Alabama likes the Folktale Project.
The Folktale.
Folktale Project.
Okay.
Idaho is big on the art of manliness.
Okay.
Colorado likes stuff to blow your mind.
Because they're all stoned. They're all popped.
There's one called King Falls AM. I don't know what that is, but I've seen that on a couple of states. And that's a favorite in Delaware. Not sure. Atlanta Monster. That's a good podcast.
Yeah, it is.
Oddly, Georgia is listening to that. So when this must have taken place about the time that came out, probably earlier this year or sometime.
Yeah, it's the same people that did Up and Vanished.
Yes.
And, yeah, Tenderfoot. It's great. They
Really,
produce some
really-
really good stuff.
Really, really good. Kansas. A lot of kids down there. Stories Podcast, a free children's story podcast for bedtime, car rides, and kids of all ages.
That's brilliant. Gosh, would that have been great 12 years ago? I'd have been asleep. Instead of having to read,
why-
I would have been asleep with the kids.
Don't you wonder, because at that time they had cassette players,
Well,
but to have your own personal cassette player would have been a really
Well, I'm
big
talking about
deal.
for my kids.
But-
Like, I could have sat there with the kids instead of reading to them.
Yeah. No,
I
I'm
could
just
have been
saying
go
though,
to sleep.
that they didn't come up with this having, like story time.
Yeah.
That would have been a brilliant idea
Yep.
back even to cassette age, and nobody thought about
Brilliant.
that. Nobody did it. So there we are in Kansas. Kentucky. Oh, we'll come back to Kentucky. Way to go, Oklahoma. 2 girls, 1 ghost.
Oh, boy. That's still 7 seconds of my life I want to forget. Back about 12 years ago.
Sorry, I didn't do it. I just watched you watch it.
Is it 2 girls, 1 ghost? Or 7 girls, 1 ghost?
2 girls, 1 ghost.
All right. 7 girls, 1 ghost is a pace.
That's a mess.
7 girls, 1 ghost. That is the name of today's podcast. by the way.
Let's see. We also have Oregon had ridiculous history. So some of these might be good podcasts too. I mean, obviously there must be a reason everybody's watching them. New Hampshire's real original, watching or listening to ESPN. That's fine. Virginia's got the Tony Kornheiser show.
I like
Okay,
Tony Kornheiser.
That's not bad. Wisconsin out on a limb with Locked On Packers.
Love it.
West Virginia has one called Mile Marker 181. It says that it is, murder or freak accident, cover up or just rumors.
Ooh, that sounds interesting.
Mile Marker 181, November 9th, 2011. That's when it takes place. So there you go. So that could be a good one. Okay, and then we'll go back now to, Mississippi likes Court Junkie.
I like Court Junkie.
Have you listened to that?
Yeah,
I've never
Court
listened
Junkie.
to
Yeah,
it.
I listen to Court Junkie.
All right, so Kentucky. Didn't see this coming at all. Conspiracy theories.
Oh, they do. Have you actually listened to one called Conspiracy Theories?
Nope.
I feel like
that's
you
the
would
name
have.
of it. Conspiracy Theories is the name of it.
should
Isn't
download
that,
that.
doesn't Sasquatch live there?
I think part of
Kentucky?
Yeah. I think he has a house there. Like he lives there.
That's
and
where they
some
go.
of
What's it called? Catfishing, or is that in Mississippi? What's
the-
it?
Noodling. They go noodling in Oklahoma. Well, they probably go noodling everywhere,
Well,
but Oklahoma's where I heard of
Nest?
noodling for the first time.
Oklahoma. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so there's some podcasts for you, and maybe something you might find that you like. Anyway, I thought it was kind of interesting. Yeah. They also included in their little survey the top 10 cities that streamed the most podcasts. And really not a big surprise because you go by population, not a shocker. They didn't do it obviously by percentage. Chicago, though, is number 1 over Los Angeles and New York, which are 2 and 3.
Oh, that's kind of interesting.
It is, right?
Yeah.
So Dallas, Atlanta, Houston, San Francisco, Seattle, Brooklyn, and Denver. So, yeah. I like those kind of things.
So
though.
do I. I love, if for nothing else, it gives you, kind of expands your horizons a little bit.
A few other podcasts to throw out there because it is kind of crazy. Once you get into one wormhole of podcasts, it's hard to get out.
Yeah.
And you just
or you
keep
find
going
one
to the
like
next
company that produces a certain style or whatever, you kind of
Yeah.
eat all those up real
Forget
quick.
that there are some other ones out there.
Thanks to Kugler Vision for supporting our podcast. They were the first. They're great. Love Kugler Vision.
Absolutely. World-class leaders in their field. Without a doubt, people come from far and wide to have their eyes taken care of by their team. Dr. Lance Kugler, Dr. Mike Stuntz, and the entire team is phenomenal. All you got to do is get online at kuglervision.com. That's where you make your appointment for your consultation. Have the consultation. They run you through the tests, and the tests are almost fun. I mean, seriously, because you're in like this spaceship environment, and you're just rolling through these different tests. And at the end, they can tell you exactly what's going on with your eyes, what you can expect, what they can do for you, and here are your options, and you can decide. And if you want, you may end up doing it the same day, as a matter of fact. So ditching the contacts, ditching the glasses. I know we've talked about the whole paying for glasses over the course of a lifetime. New prescriptions, same with contacts, getting stuff in your eyes when you have contacts and you have to find your glasses. KuglerVision.com. Fill out that consultation. You do it yourself. It's a scheduler right there. You pick the day, you pick the time.
Tell them you heard it on the Pat and JT podcast.
All right, so let's do it. A Fugitive Friday.
Love Fugitive Friday.
This comes from the Saunders County Sheriff's Department. And they aren't messing around. They do this every week. And they only put 2. I know there's more than 2, but they only put 2 every week. So as I say, any day can be Fugitive Friday. Okay. This week we're looking at Seth and Penny. They're both in trouble with the law.
Not together. This is 2 separate ones. Not like Seth.
2 separate ones. Nope. Seth got top billing. Seth Kofel is 29. Failure to appear on a motion to revoke probation.
Well, that'll get you. That's not a good thing. You want to get off probation, and you don't show up.
You're just stacking him up.
Seth.
Just stacking him up.
Come on, Seth.
His last known address was Omaha, not Ashland,
Okay, we're on to you, Seth.
right? And then Penny Clayton. Sounds like an innocent name. I had a Penny. I went to school with a Penny.
Yeah, I didn't. My dad's taxidermist was named Penny. She had a pet wood duck. Lived in her house. Named Puddles. Swear to God. Puddles, yeah. Lived in her bathtub.
I had a poodle named Puddles.
Yeah. Puddles is a cute name for anything. Puddles is a cute name. Ducks should never live in a house, by the way.
It was not a wood duck. It was a wood duck.
It was a wood duck. It wasn't a wooden duck. It was literally a wood duck.
Okay, that's even better because I was just thinking it was inanimate and she named it Puddles.
It was a wood duck. A wood duck named Puddles.
Puddles, the wood duck lived in the house.
Yep. And primarily, like they had a converted bathroom that they had the window that would open. And
she could
Puddles
just
would
come and go
inside.
as she pleased.
I believe so. If my memory serves me right, last time I think I saw it when I was like 12 or 13. It was a while ago.
Say it again. That was your dad's taxidermist?
My dad's taxidermist named Penny had a
named Penny.
wood duck named Puddles. And
Okay.
that may be the title. Taxidermist
I think
named
you just
Penny.
raised the bar. All right. So Penny Clayton is 43, and she is wanted failure to appear for resisting arrest and obstruction.
Uh-oh.
So, little combative. Last known address is Fremont, and it appears she may have an active warrant out of Dodge County as well.
Ooh, she is a bad girl.
Bad Penny.
Yeah, bad
She's
Penny.
a bad Penny.
Bad Penny.
So, Crime Stoppers, you can tip them off on Facebook if you like, or give them a call, 443-1000. That's the Wahoo number. Crime Stoppers, of course, as well. There are possible rewards. All tips are confidential. Anything I can do to help the officers in blue.
I mean, we're helping everybody today with podcast info, areas in Omaha where you're not supposed to speed, and Fugitive Friday. 402-403-9478. Slide into our DMs. You can do it anywhere on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. It's Pat and JT. And let us know those places in town that you guarantee no matter how much of a hurry you're in, you will not speed
Don't
because
do
you
it.
will get a speeding ticket.
Don't do it.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to our podcast.
Pat and JT Podcast. A Parkville Media Production.